Hey, it's me, PK King, and welcome back to another episode of, or I guess the second episode, part 2, I don't really know. The second, building stages video. I did one with the Shovel Knight characters that I did movesets for, and it did pretty well, and I told you guys I'm gonna do a Hollow Knight one, and it's here, and this is the Hollow Knight one. I was only gonna do like 2 or 3 stages, because the other one, I did 2 for each character, and then an extra one. So I was like, oh, I'll do 2, and then an extra 3, you know, math. But that didn't happen. I went off and made like 5 stages, so I hope you get comfortable. If you're sitting in your seat and you're kind of confused, I'd recommend watching my other video first where I build the Shovel Knight stages, just because I explain a lot more there. But basically, I made a Hollow Knight moveset. I didn't talk about stages much because Stage Builder didn't exist, but now it exists, so I'm putting my mind into stage. That sounded so much better in my head. Let's just get into the first stage. Okay, so the first stage is Dirtmouth. Well, it's hollowing cliffs. Okay, well, look, I wanted to make Dirtmouth, but I was like, that'd be boring. I don't really know how I do that. Like, would you just fight on a flat stage with the buildings in the back? Like, I didn't really know how to make that work. So I was like, what if it was actually howling cliffs, but you see Dirtmouth like in the distance? You know what I mean? So it's like it's still a unique stage, but you still see Dirtmouth. I don't know. I thought that's the best way I could picture it, and like I had it in my head, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then I made it, and I'm like, I don't know. Honestly, this is definitely not my favorite one. But I feel like if Hollow Knight actually got into Smash, this would be a very like good contender. Maybe not this exact same, but the same idea. Just because it's the very start of the game, and Sakurai likes putting like the intros of the game into the actual like maps. Just because like you put the final boss fight, and that's like a spoiler. Like no one really knows that. Like it's just kind of weird. So I thought, okay, like this is the beginning of the game. It's also end game. You come back at the end of the game, especially for DLC and stuff like that. So I'm like, I feel like this would work. I feel like it'd make the most sense, like if we're being realistic. But it's also pretty ambitious, at least the way I did it. Like right now, you can see I'm making like Dirtmouth in the background with the 3 like build. Like, you know, I'm trying to make it work. You don't really get that much of like building stuff on Stage Builder, but I'm trying to make it work the simplest way as possible. But yeah, I put it in the background so you can't actually like step on it. It's just still look cool. The only part you can actually walk on is the little cliffed part. I end up changing it a little bit and like putting it back more, just to make it make more sense. I also put the little lamp there just because there's a lamp there, and I'm like, I should do that. But yeah, then I'm putting like a little, I want to make it kind of look like a road. I'm playing it, messing around with it, just running in it. And then I made a little bench, just because like a bench there. And I think, yeah, that's the light. The light has like 2 lights on either side. And then at some point I made Elderbug. There you go. There's Elderbug. He's always there. He's always chilling. So I felt like it was only right to have him there. And then here I realized you can kind of fall off the side, so I extended it a lot, made it a little bigger. I get the shapes weird, especially at like the part where it divots down. I should have put something to fill in that area just because it looks really unnatural and weird. I was like, oh, it's a cliff. It's supposed to be weird, but that's a little too weird for me. Okay, and then here I wanted to, okay, you guys know the secret ending where you have that little that if you talk to that mushroom dude, then at the ending he like flies across your screen. I wanted to have him here and to just be flying around in the background, but I had to delete some stuff to put him in, and I literally spent like, dude, way too much time trying to get this to work. So in the end, I just made it so at the beginning of the battle he falls, and like he only shows up at the beginning of the battle. So it's just a nice little quick Easter egg. It's all in cliffs. Here's the stage. It's uploaded if you want to do it. I don't know why you'd want to download this. Not my favorite one. There are better ones coming up, you know. But there's an ID and everything. Yeah, on to the next one. Okay, from the worst one to arguably the best one. Actually, there's one more coming up that I like a little more than this one. But this one's City of Tears. You'll see me mess around with the platforms a bit. I made it a little off-symmetrical, and I'm not gonna, no, you're not gonna have like an asymmetrical stage in Smash. It's just not happening. But so I fix it a little bit later, don't worry. But yeah, City of Tears, I'm like, hello, this is, at least to me, it's like a central area in the game. You know, like it's a pretty big area. It's kind of in the middle. I feel like it's a little bit more important than the other areas. So I decided to make that the stage. God, I say a lot. This is hard. But yeah, it's the water fountain area, the main area where the cutscene happens. So I'm like, a cutscene happens there. It has to be important but I made the fountain able to like be stand on the like the two parts where the little like things go out. I don't know, just to make the stage a little more unique. Because if it was just 3 platforms like that, then like that's kind of boring. Yeah. But yeah, then here I put the little the Hollow Knight in the background with the 3 dreamers. Yeah, it's super simplistic. And here I'm fixing everything because it was off-center. Super simplistic. They're not main part. They're just kind of there, adds to the atmosphere. And once I've got the kind of fundamentals of the stage, oh yeah, I put the water, pre-water. I wanted to make it rain because it is City Tears. Like, it's raining all the time. So I'm like, I feel like that's one of the most important things. So I made all these little icicle things, and I put gravity on them, and they respawn. So they'll go down and come back up and go down, and it's like it's raining, right? So I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. But I play tested it, and they would all do it at the same time. So I'm like, that sucks. I want it to be like rain, where it's like random, not scheduled. Like, no. So I was like trying to mess with like where they are and stuff like that. And then I kind of realized that if I just put like items at the bottom, it will delay when it gets off stage and delay when it despawns. And then because of that, they'll like just start coming randomly over time. So the first couple times it's like, okay, it's kind of patterning, but after a while it really differs up and it really just looks like it's raining, and I love it. I also put a little wind filter. I don't know how much I don't know how I feel about this too much. I don't think it was like that crazy big of a deal. Oh yeah, here I put like the water just to cover the front area so you don't see it despawn and stuff like that. I wanted to block it so you didn't see the little lines that I put to delay the rain. But yeah, so I put wind, made it even. When am I gonna get to the wind? Come on, I'm running out of things to say, me. Hurry up. Oh, here you go. So I put the wind, I made it going down a little bit just to resemble the rain. At first it was just gonna be at the top, and then I was like, hey, screw it, let's put it everywhere. But it's literally at 1. Like, I don't think it has any effect on the gameplay. It just kind of looks pretty. It probably has like a slight thing, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's worth looking pretty. Speaking of looking pretty, okay, so for being real, I don't think that Sakurai and the team behind Smash would ever do this stage just because it's literally like the final boss. If you don't want spoilers, I guess we could leave, but it's not really spoilers. It's don't want to worry about it. This is the final boss area. I use the circle tool at the top to make it cut off like that, to make it all round. I don't know, I think that's really cool. But yeah, it's the first like the Radiance battle, but before you actually start the battle, because when you start, the platforms disappear and it's like a whole different thing. But I'm like, why don't they use the platforms? Like, the platforms are cool, so I put the platforms there. I realized you couldn't grab the edge just because it kind of goes out at the bottom, so I had to delete that and kind of redo it to make it a little more narrow. But it works, it's all good. But honestly, I think out of all the stages I built for this one's my favorite. It's simple, but it's cool, and it's really pretty. I mean, not yet, but right now I'm working on the background. There's some like pillars, and there's a bunch of like clouds and like smoke and stuff like that. So I kind of just made that like a random shape. Like, what I like to do is make like a random shape there, and then make it really big. I mean, I don't know, I haven't watched too many people make stages or really looked at too many other stages. Like, maybe that's like a simple, like, basic baby step that everybody does. I don't know. But I don't know, I think it's cool. I put the sun in the background. I know, like, technically it's not a sun, it's the radiance, but like, I don't know. I after this, I saw some people that actually just made the radiance, and I'm like, damn, that's cool. But like, I don't know. I think I like it just being the sun there. I don't know. I think I like it just being the sun there. Maybe if the stage was real, and the radiance could like transform, pop up every once in a while. I don't really know, but for now, I like it like this. And then it has some weird like spike, tentacle, rock thingies coming up. I don't really know. But yeah, I made them small like that, and then I made it really big. I did that a bunch of times on all the layers, blah blah blah, fun and great. But yeah, it's the final boss area. I don't know if it would actually be, I don't know how likely it really is if this was actually gonna happen, but it's really pretty. So that's my logic, you know, that's all I really need. And then I decided that like I was done with it, but it was still like kind of simple, so I wanted to make it move because, you know, like clouds and stuff. So I just made it kind of go up and down a little bit, like pretty slightly in the front and the back, just so it gives a little more depth. And it's weird because it's such a subtle thing that like I realized I could do a lot more, but I haven't been doing like with the water and like the other level and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe I'll start doing that more. But yeah, I put a little layer in the front for the smoke, and I made that move too, just a little bit, just up and down a bit. and that's pretty much it. And honestly, this one's my favorite stage. It's kind of terrifying looking at it now, but it's my favorite stage. I also did the wind thing with this too, but I made it going up just because, like, I don't know, I felt like it's a little more dynamic, made a little more sense, and it's like a little stronger. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I don't know, but I think it looks really cool. Oh yeah, but this is Radiance. Here's the code. Yes. Okay, so this one's pretty cool. I honestly I was a little stuck here. I wasn't exactly sure where to go with this, but this one's the Colosseum of Fools. Like, you know, the Colosseum of Fools. It's I'd say it's also a big area in the game. It's just kind of like you just fight a bunch of things over and over, like a bunch of different waves. Honestly, I've never beat it. I got really close, but I was like, no, this isn't gonna happen. Well, I think I beat it the first time, but there's like different tiers. I didn't beat the second tier, I think. But yeah, so this is it. It's pretty simplistic because the actual Colosseum is like a lot more detailed and has like a bunch of bugs like in the audience. But here's just represented with blue things. I made the background like that Colosseum Fire Emblem just because I thought it fit. There's the big beetle dude sitting on his throne. But yeah, the only weird thing about this stage is that in the actual game, obviously it changes a lot. There's no real just the Colosseum of Fools besides like a flat stage, and I was like, that's lame. So I wanted to make it a little more unique, but I also wanted to make it like actually resemble what the actual stage like in the game would be. So I was like, okay, it should be a little dangerous, you know, it should have some spikes at the bottom. So I chose this format. It's from early on in the Colosseum of Fools. It's like one of the first couple little things it transforms into, and I think it's still like simplistic enough. Kind of reminds me of that Metroid stage, but it's just 3 platforms, pretty simplistic. Put those little things in the background holding it up, and then I put lava at the bottom so you kind of bounce on lava. First it would be bumpers, and I was like, no, that's not gonna work. But that'll take up like so much of my count. Yeah, no thank you. So I ended up doing it with lava instead, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I could cover it. I didn't really know how to do it at first, but I figured it out in a sec. I made little spikes like really small like that, and then I grew it like I did before, and then it worked pretty well. You can see the lava there, and I changed it up, and then you can't see the lava, and it's great. So don't get hit by the spikes. You can't really get spiked, like you can only really die from going up or to the side. But I think it's so cool. I think it's so cool. If every stage was like a perfectly tournament legal stage, then that'd get boring really fast. I also put a little wind at the bottom. Honestly, I'm just obsessed with the wind, but that should help you not get hit by the spike all the time, even though the wind isn't that strong. It's again for like aesthetics. But yeah, Colosseum Fools, because it wouldn't let me put because it's 16 characters limit. I don't know, I could have put like Fools Colosseum, but I just put like Colosseum of Fools because I thought that was funny. Okay, and last but not least, consider this one a little bonus one. This one's Crossroads. This was my first idea when I wanted to do this, just because this is a cool area for me. You know, it was just like a bunch of platforms, and this probably isn't the most like iconic area or like a big enough area to make a stage out of it, but it's Crossroads. It's like one of the first places you go. I went to the left when I first played it, so I saw this and I was like, whoa, you know. And also the grubs are also right over there, so you'll have to see this eventually if you want to get that grub coin, you know what I mean. But yeah, this also one is big. All the other ones are normal size. This one's big. I'm like, okay, one of them needs to be big. They can only be normal. That's lame. So made this one. It kind of reminds me of that old. You remember that old? I think there was an old Mario stage where like it kind of looked like this, and it was like platforms going up and down. You know what I mean? Like it kind of reminds me of that. Obviously, these platforms don't move. Yikes. But yeah, obviously this isn't like 100 like 1-to-1 to scale with actual Hollow Knight. I wanted to make it a little more like equal, just so it made a little bit more sense. And then I started putting the walls and the backgrounds and some stuff just like on the things, because you know, like Hollow Knight has the stuff you can break in the background. So I wanted to put a little bit of those. I should have put more on other platforms, but I only put like 2. Then I put the wall again. I made it small, made it big. Did the same thing on the other side. They're not like actually walls, like you're not gonna bounce off them. They're just like there for aesthetics. Because again, the whole game you're underground. But if I made it so you couldn't die out of any edge, then that would suck. So yeah, these just all look pretty. I also put one at the top later on, put one at the bottom. I want to make it kind of a U shape so you could like, we wouldn't see the edges, but you still like see the background and stuff like that, and only like a little bit more depth, you know what I mean. I'm working with it, I'm figuring it out, we're doing our best. But I do think this one is pretty unique. The other ones are just more like stages. This one, only the outer platforms you can grab the ledge on. Like, it's just a little different. I also wanted to put I wanted to put some enemies here because there are a lot of enemies here. I made that. It's a little grub, not grub, whatever it's called. No, that is a grub. Wait, what did I call the worms earlier? I called the worms grubs. Oh, why, dude? I'm tired. I don't know. But this little dude just kind of goes around in circles, doing his thing. He doesn't bother you. He's just in the back. And then I made some lines just going down like that, just because like there's chains and stuff, and I'm not gonna make actual like chains like hello. Then I put that in the front, and honestly, I think this stage looks pretty nice. I actually kind of like this stage. The stage is actually pretty cool. Yeah, Crossroads, HK, there's the code and everything, and yeah. Okay guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you like the stages. Honestly, I'm a little iffy on some, but I really like the Radiant stage and I really like the City of Tears stage. Those ones are my favorite. But some other stuff like Crossroads, the Howling Cliffs, Colosseum of Fools, I don't really know. You could probably do better. If you do, tell me your codes in the comments. I'd love to check them out. If you want to make your own, please make your own. If you have any other ideas for stages that would be better than any of these, like I was thinking maybe the White Palace, and I could put a lot of like saws or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. But these were the 5 that kind of stuck. Maybe this was a lot. I don't really know, and I kind of changed up the format that I did it, because last time I kind of did it as I went. This time I'm kind of talking over it. Tell me if you guys like this better than that. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I don't know if I'm gonna do this kind of video again, because like the Wander Song video that I just posted, his moveset, I put his stage in with that video, so I'm not gonna make a separate video for it unless you guys want it. If you just want me to make a whole separate video for Wander Song stages, that'd be cool. Maybe I'd do that. I don't know, but anyway, check out the Hollow Knight video if you haven't already for whatever reason, so you can see what I think of that moveset, see the animation, love it. Thank you for the support on that video also. It's doing really well, and I love that series, and I'm super excited to work on the next episode. Everything's going great. But I think that's it. I don't know. I always end these and then I'm like, oh shoot, I should have said this. But yeah, okay, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later in the future, probably, hopefully, eventually. I mean, like, sometime next week, next month. I don't really know. Thanks for watching. Bye. I love you.